Hey, welcome to my channel. Today's video is it's a requested video. Actually, I've had lots of people email me and ask me to talk a bit more about this because I've mentioned it in the past. Multiple realities. The theory that we are shifting in between realities all of the time, and how does that work for me? And the thing is, that does work for me. It's the only thing that works for me. I think we have to find our thing, our belief in what this could possibly be. We're never going to know what it is, are we? But our sort of strongest guess and what works for us and how we can then work with that. And I feel that the multiple reality theory for me works on several levels. So exactly what is my theory about multiple realities? Obviously, I don't know this is my best guess, and this is what works for me. And because several weird things have happened, I've wanted something and then ended up having it, and a physical thing, the very next day, whereas I didn't have it the day before. So, and also when Harry was at school, he came back and he told me that they'd been learning about the Mandela effect, which was, if you haven't heard anything about it, it was when basically Nelson Mandela, for some people, Nelson Mandela died back in the 80s, and for some he didn't. He died when I remember he died. And the people that feel that he died back in the 80s all have the same memories of the funeral and everything. So when I heard that, when Harry told me about that, I thought, oh wow. And I really thought about that more, and then I looked that up and I sort of learnt a lot about it, and I thought that makes sense to me. The reason that it makes it easier for me to create thinking that, believing that, is because you don't hold on to the thought that you have to change something in order to get what you want. Or particularly if you're looking to get back with your ex, you don't then get obsessed with changing that person in order to get back with them, thinking that you have to change their feelings. They feel one way now and you feel that you have to change that in order for them to be interested in you again, and that's just not the case. So if you believe that every time you set an intention and you feel it, you really feel that desire, then you are creating that particular reality where that thing exists, or where that person exists, feeling the way that you would like them to feel. And then when you are detached to enough, then you shift into that reality, where that person is and where that person feels that way, or where that job is, where that new car is, whatever. It's anything, absolutely anything. And sometimes it's the thing that's given to you on a plate. Sometimes it's a situation that opens up that you react to, and then you acquire whatever it is that you want. Sometimes it's an event or whatever. You are just pointed in the right direction, and as providing you are not incredibly attached to the outcome and looking for the outcome, it will happen. It really will. Anything is possible with this, and multiple realities works for me. So once you have created that reality, it's there, and then you have to allow yourself to experience it. And that is where detachment comes in. But we don't want to look at detachment as this huge thing that we have to do. It's better just to let it happen naturally. But I do suggest that if you've been overthinking a situation and you're stuck in that over-intending, so you are trying technique after technique, oh, well, that one didn't work, let me just try this one, that you stop doing that, and you do stop engaging too much with thoughts of whatever it is that you want. If it's making you feel the lack of it, you can think about something as much as you like all day long. If it makes you feel good and you're not looking for the outcome, you're not looking for that to happen, you're just enjoying thinking about it and feeling it, then it's not a problem. It won't be a problem for you, because that is not attachment. Attachment is not thinking about what it is that you want. Attachment is constantly looking for it and feeling like you don't have it, feeling like this tightness in your chest, or this funny feeling in your stomach, or just not feeling particularly good the majority of the time. So let's think, if you've intended something and you've had that strong desire and you have created that reality, it's a done deal. You have created it, and the only way you don't experience it is if you change your mind and you get the feeling of the opposite. You want the opposite, then you create that reality, and then if you carry on that in that vein, then you will experience that reality and not the previous one. But once it is created and you carry on with those feelings towards that reality, that is what you will experience. Again, of course, this is all theory, of course it is. I just love science. I love the idea of this being something to do with quantum, and but I don't know. And I think it's key to not try to believe what somebody else believes. So if this is nonsense to you, or if you feel like, oh, I didn't see it like that, oh, I don't know if that works for me, then it's just not your thing. It works for me because I'm very sci-fi and I like the idea of that. And when I decided that this is what's going on for me, and maybe there's an argument to say, whatever it is that you think, it's that, you know, if we all have our own reality. So, and again, I feel that I have my reality, you have your reality. Everybody has their own reality. So what you experience during a day of me may be slightly different than somebody else experiences. And that again helps with the competition theory, you know, the competition thing, when you think, but if I want a particular person and then somebody else wants them, who will get it? The person that desires it the most, the person that's detached the most? No. At some point you will both get, because that person has their reality, you have your reality. It's the only way this works. If this is a universal law, which it is, and it works for everyone, there is no competition. There cannot be any competition. So if you're looking at something, a scarcity, you're thinking, well, there's not much of this to go around, so how am I going to get that? That's not the case. There's one for everyone. There really is no such thing as scarcity. There isn't. And I know that's quite a difficult thing to get your head around, because we get stuck in this circumstances matter nonsense, but they really don't. Circumstances only matter to us. They do not matter to reality. Reality doesn't see the past. For circumstances to matter to reality, to the universe, whatever, it would have to notice the past, and it would have to think, oh, well, you know, that's far too difficult because all of this happened. But it doesn't. It only works on the now. So it's a now. It's with your feelings. Whatever you feel is what you experience. So sometimes you might be experiencing something now and you think, well, I don't want this. But if you look back at your feelings a little while ago, you should be able to see how you've got to what you're experiencing now, because there's always a bit of a time delay. So I've experienced things that I thought, what? And then I've been able to look back and think, I know I'm experiencing that because this is what I thought back a couple of months ago or something. So unless you sort of counteract that really strongly, a thought that you may have had, a strong feeling that you've had, then you will end up experiencing that. But everything can be counteracted. I know I'm talking about a lot of different things here, but if you think about something and you think to yourself, I don't want to experience that reality, just tell yourself not true, because not true has a really great vibration, and since I've been using it, it's worked every single time. It hasn't then gone on to create stuff. Because I live in my head a lot and I feel things strongly, I tend to create, you know, when there's no resistance there, I tend to create stuff really quickly, and sometimes it's dead on point, sometimes it might be a little bit off. If it's a little bit off, it's because my vibration has been mixed. So I've had a vibration that's mixed with something else, something slightly different, which has brought me that bit of a mixed version of what I want. But I always know why. I can always pinpoint why something has happened for me the way it has. So just imagine that you are swapping between realities the whole time. Even if you find it hard to get your head around, just think, wouldn't it be cool if that was what it is? Because if that's what it is, then there is no scarcity, you know, no competition. There is no chance that I won't experience what I want to experience, because why wouldn't I? I've created it with my consciousness. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but I have created it. So why in the world would I not experience it? I just need to allow myself to experience it. But let's talk a bit about letting go as well. And I know that a lot of you don't like that phrase, and I don't like the phrase either, really, because it's a bit, it does cause resistance, just saying, I need to let go now. But what we need to do is we need to allow, and that's that. And I proved it to myself recently, proved it with a couple of members that have been successful getting contact when they haven't had contact for a very long time. And that's all down to the fact that they just stopped techniques and were just working on throwing themselves into the rest of life, as tricky as life is at the moment, you know, finding positives about life now and making an effort not to engage with too many thoughts of that person, and then they've started to have some success. So, you know, the thing is, all of the things that I've got, my new office that I'm just about to sign for, just about to put the deposit down on, I knew I wanted to move. I knew that I wasn't happy where I was, but I was feeling that sort of stuck feeling. I felt stuck because I was thinking, because I was sharing with somebody else, I am still sharing with somebody else at the moment, and he's a really lovely guy, nothing wrong with him whatsoever, but he's there more often than me, and he kind of seems like his office and not mine, even though I've got my personal section, but his stuff is taking over the office. And sometimes I'll come in on a random day when I'm not usually in, and he's sat at my desk and stuff like that, and then he panics to move, and it's just not been ideal for a little while. But I was feeling like I was wishing that I could shift into reality where he decided to move on, go somewhere else, work from home or whatever. But I wanted it to be a good situation for him. I didn't want it to be anything negative for him. So I say in the best possible way. But I knew that I had this feeling deep down that I couldn't see how that would happen. Even though I know that circumstances don't matter, my subconscious was struggling to get on board, and I knew that. I knew there was this resistance there, and I thought, okay, I've got to look at this another way around, because I'm feeling stuck. So I am stuck, and there was no movement on it, you know, and usually I get things a lot quicker than that. There was no movement. So I was driving into work and I was thinking, I'm just going to put up with it. I'm going to deal with it. You know, lockdown is getting to me. I probably wouldn't be so sensitive to this if it wasn't for lockdown. And I'm so laid back that I just think that he thinks all of that's okay, because I never say anything, you know. Usually these things wouldn't bother me, but anyway. And I thought ideally I would have my own space, and I thought, yeah, that's what I want my own space. But then I thought, where I am, the studios are so popular, and I'm in the most popular part of the studios, and everybody loves their studios. And even though hardly anybody's in at the moment, they keep their studios if they can. Some have gone, but not in the main corridor, and that's where I love to be. And I thought, you know, I'm just going to deal with it. I'm going to accept reality that I tell everybody else to do, and that I really am able to do with most things. And I had kind of let that sort of pass me by, and I was feeling that stuckness basically, and really wanting to move. And then I drove it into work, and I spoke to Polly, the facilities manager, and I said, do you know what, because I told her that I wasn't particularly happy, and I was thinking of who else I could share with, and my friend has the office next door and she's got space there at the moment, and I thought maybe I should share with her. And then I thought, you know, we have a really good friendship, we really do, and I didn't want to ruin that, because you don't know how it's going to be, do you, when you move in with somebody else. And also I thought, that's not going to be very nice for Dave. I don't want to hurt him. And if I'm leaving you to move in next door, it's quite a personal thing, isn't it? And I didn't want to do that. So I said, ideally, I would have my own space, but you know what? I'm going to deal with it for now and see what comes up. And she just said, oh my God, really? You want your own space? And I said, yeah. And she said, and she pointed to an office which is just over the corridor from mine, and she said that the guy had just put his notice in on that, and it's a huge office, and it's a 2-man office, and it's double the rent. And I just said, I'll have it. But then I said, oh, hang on a minute, let me just go and think about it, because I'm so impulsive, and I just needed to go. I didn't have to rush like that. I gave myself 10 minutes. I thought about it, and I thought, I'm just going to take it. I just thought it's worth the risk. I'm going to take it. It's a 6-month contract. The worst comes to the worst. I can hand my notice in, you know, I'm not stuck there. And I am one for taking risks. I love taking risks. I get excited by taking risks. I once left a job back in the day for a job that had no security with it whatsoever. It was a temporary job, but I took it because I really wanted to work in the place that it was, and I thought something will work out, I'll stay there, it'd be cool. So I just had a really good feeling about it, and I went back to Polly and I said, I want it. I am contracted to pay the rent where I am for another 6 months, but I put my notice in a few weeks ago now, because this happened a few weeks ago. So I'm contracted to stay there, but I know now, I've really released on that now, and I know that something will happen, somebody will offer to go in with Dave, or he will decide to take it on by himself or something, but I'm not uptight about it now. And also now I'm in with him still at the moment, it's not bothering me, okay, if he uses my desk, whatever, it's not bothering me, because it's not a permanent arrangement. I don't care. When I found a solution, that was so quick, once I just let go and released it. And the office is just amazing. It's huge, and I'm going to be able to do workshops in there and do some Skype calls and stuff, and have that privacy to do some more coaching. It's just absolutely perfect. So I am well happy, but it wasn't moving. My situation was not changing because I felt stuck. I wasn't allowing myself to move into that reality where I had my own office, because I didn't really know what I wanted. I wasn't being clear. I thought I wanted Dave to go so that I would just be in that office by myself, but actually I'm so much happier now, because I feel like I needed a fresh start, and I didn't want to really stay in that office. So what I've got now is absolutely perfect. I'm directly opposite my friend, who is like next door to me at the moment, and I'm going to get some armchairs in there, and I've got all of this space, and it's just amazing. So I can have her over for coffee. Anyway, that was just a waffly story, but I just wanted to let you know that it's very difficult to shift into that reality that you've created where you're holding on or you're feeling. I think stuck is the way to put it, really. I was feeling stuck, but I wasn't really aware that I was feeling stuck. I was going on with that feeling. I suddenly became aware of it, which I tend to do really as a matter of practice, but hadn't done it with that. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute, you are feeling really stuck. Well, this is why you're stuck. This is why nothing is moving. So when I did what I always do and accept reality, I just accepted it. I felt a huge sense of relief that I had decided to accept it anyway. And I was quite sort of cross with myself that I hadn't done it before. I thought, what the hell? You do this with everything. Why haven't you done it with that? So I did, and I felt that huge relief. And what was it? About 15 minutes from where I was in the car when I made the decision to it happening, to me getting that office, which I love. So I was just filled with happiness that day and positivity, and that everything was going great. And, you know, another thing, when you are feeling positive and happy about everything and then something bad happens, don't react to it. Don't, you know, obviously if it's something, you will react to it. But what I mean is, don't then carry on down that road with all of your feelings towards the negative, because then you will start creating more of that. Just try it, because I'd like to make it clear that bad things do still happen. You can be, what's the song? Riding High in April, Shot Down in May, isn't it? Is that Frank Sinatra? Can't think which song it is, but it's so true. That can happen, but it's how you deal with those things and bring yourself back to the positive that is what's key. Do you know what I'm finding lately, that I start off on a topic and then I sort of go round the houses, and then sort of I just find it difficult because I don't do so many videos now as I used to do. I like to, as I'm talking, other things come up in my mind, and then I start, you know, talking about those things as well. So I hope that this wasn't too confusing, that I didn't confuse it with too many other nuggets of information. But all of this is about what works for you. It's not about what works for me. I just give you advice based on my own experiences, and in the thought that some of you are probably like me, your personalities are probably like me, and what I do may work for you, but it isn't going to work for everyone. And some people like to push forward, persistence. That's never worked for me. I mean, I'm persistent in the action that I take. I'm persistent in knowing that this is a thing, that I can make things happen, but I'm not persistent in, I do say affirmations. See what I mean? I'm going completely off the point now. I'm going to do an affirmations video next, actually. I do say affirmations. I love affirmations, but I don't repeat them constantly, parrot fashion. I don't sit there and say the same phrase over and over again, and I use variations of a phrase, and sometimes I might say that affirmation 4 or 5 times a day, and that's all, nothing more than that. And I might only say them for a week or so and then stop, but that works for me. It really does. I've seen great success with doing that. I really have, especially with little health issues. So I'm not banging on about it. I'm not trying to work hard to change my subconscious belief. I'm just putting out a statement, and by putting out that statement, you cause the vibration that goes with that statement, associated with that statement, and that is then the frequency that you are putting out. You don't need to do it all of the time. I've really found, for me, hard work does not pay off with this, but that's me, you know. That really is me, and I prefer a much more laid-back attitude to this. So I live my life, I enjoy my life. I am driven by fun. That's what drives me. Money doesn't drive me. Obviously, I want my life to be as fun as possible. I love doing what I'm doing now. It's the best career change I've ever had. I absolutely love it. I love dealing with you, my members, and people here that come to this channel. I love talking to you. I love coaching. I love my writing. I absolutely adore my writing, and I'm working on a fiction project at the moment, which I'm loving too. And I'm thinking, God, how lucky am I? You know, I am enjoying I don't see it as work. I said to my mum the other day, oh, I haven't worked today. This was a day last week on a Friday. I said, oh no. She said, have you worked? I said, no, I try not to work on a Friday. She said, well, I thought you said you'd done a video. And I said, oh, well, yeah, but I don't see that as work, because I don't. And I'm thinking, that's awesome, isn't it? I don't see that as work. So that's what drives me to have the best life possible for me, the most fun that I can have. If I make a decent bit of money with it, then even better, you know. Anyway, I'm just going to stop waffling now, because I'm really conscious of this, that I've really waffled with this video. I'll probably end up cutting a ton of it out. So if you haven't heard about me before, I'm an author. I've written 4 books: Wishful Thinking, Get Back With Your Ex, Degrees of Attachment, all about attachment, how you can deal with that, and Pimp Your Vibe, all about vibration. And that's possibly my favourite one, because when I cottoned onto it all being about vibration, it all changed for me. So that talks about how you can artificially change your vibration in order to permanently change it, all that stuff. It's only 50 pages long, but it's one that you can just read over and over. Anyway, but Get Back With Your Ex continues to be my most popular book, really does. I just sell so many of those, and it's awesome. I just keep selling them. But that's just a little 30-page Kindle version available on Amazon. Anyway, less of the sales. If you haven't visited my son's channel, that's Harrison Ellis. I do have a link for it down below, but I'm told a lot of times that it doesn't work on a mobile. And I've clicked it on my mobile and it doesn't go anywhere, but it is the right link. So if you don't have success with that, then it's Harrison Ellis, and it's a Law of Attraction channel, so just look him up. And it's all specific person-based, energy-based stuff. He's just got so much positive energy. It's unreal. It really is. He's awesome. Anyway, I also have a members area available on my website. It's £5 a month. You get one-to-one coaching support from me with that price, tons of modules, and I'm hoping that next week the forum part of it will be live. It's a bit like a Facebook section, so you post on your wall and people can chat with you, interact with you, you can give each other advice. I say I'm hoping is because there's a couple of little housekeeping jobs that I have to do on it. I thought I'd done all my part and I've handed it over to my husband, and he's just like, do you know you haven't done this and this? There's just a couple of things that I haven't done that I need to do. So I'm really hoping by the end of next week it will be live. If not, it won't be long after that. There you go.